Good evening, this is your host Alexander, and welcome to today's new entry on the Classical Giants. Today's topic is someone who's pretty much underrated in the classical music genre, but has made some incredible feats. Born Franz Joseph Haydn on March 31st, 1732, his father was a wooden wheel repairman and his mother was a cook. As a young kid, Haydn, being only 6, had already left his parents. He lived with his cousin and was trained by him in the musical arts. There's also a twist in their story. A great composer started as a singer. As a kid, young Joseph was in a church choir. There, under his cousin's teachings, he learned to play various instruments and was a musical mastermind. He stood out so much that the musical director of St. Stephen's invited him to be a part of a choir at one of the most important churches in the Austrian capital. He ended up moving to Vienna, and there he stayed at the choir school for 9 years. Haydn, as a young kid already, had many things to offer, and was a star getting recognized by many people. While at the choir school, he gained an extensive amount of knowledge of music, but he didn't know much about music theory, which only made him worse. He ended up losing everything when his voice changed though. He was kicked out of the choir, and the choir school let him go, so he was left alone on the streets. And it was really astonishing how he went from having everything due to his various talents in music and his ability to sing, and was left with nothing and left alone at 17. But there was a turning point in the story. After he was left alone, with very few places to go and very few possessions, he was forced to take shelter in a garret with a few musicians. After all, that was the only place he could go. The choir had dumped him like he was nothing after his voice broke, and he was alone. He ended up maintaining himself by doing odd musical jobs here and there, and making the best out of what he could do in his situation. I personally think this is very inspiring, as he was on his own, yet he managed to become what he has been working for his entire life. After he was tossed out and managed with his musical talents, he decided to study musical works, mostly those of Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, who was a German composer. Through this, he learned music and was able to acquire more knowledge, and again caught the attention of another composer and singer, Nicola Porpora. Through this, Nicola helped him correct and guided him in his compositions, and learned many things through his teachings. After a while, he was on the move again, and was now with Carl Joseph von Feuerenberg, in which he played chamber music, and there he composed his first string quartets. He composed many music pieces, which included 108 symphonies, 68 string quartets, 32 diabantini for small orchestras, 126 trios for the baritone, viola, and cello, 29 trios for piano, violin, and cello, 21 trios for 2 violins and 1 cello, 47 piano sonatas, 20 operas, 14 masses, 6 oratorios, and 2 cello concerti. As you can see, our fellow Haydn was quite the composer. Very astonishing, and these numbers prove it. If you wish to learn more, please visit the link in which includes our sources. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week.